I'd like to call the meeting to order. Everyone for the board is present. Thank you very much.
Is everybody really here?
I'd like to get the motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Eric, seconded by Dave. Public, you're here on the wrong side, but that's okay. Would you like to offer anything early on, or should we just wait? We'll wait, okay. Let's see. I'm going to change around the new business a little bit and ask Zach Lance for sustainability to. Did I get a board approval? No, did we vote on that? On the approval? I got a second, I didn't get a vote.
Wasn't that Eric and then Dave?
Yes.
And then,
Did we vote on it?
Should.
Yes. We have motion seconded for the approval of the agenda. Anyone opposed? All right, we are approved. Public? Minutes. The minutes. Approval of last month's minutes. Anybody have any adds, deletes, suggestions for last month's minutes? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Seconded by Lonnie, Dave, and first by Eric. Okay, new business. I'm gonna ask Zach to start off so he can get back to work. This is enough vacation time. Zach, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me this morning. Great to see a lot of familiar faces and a new few folks here too. So, my name is Zach Lance, and I am a sustainability coordinator for the city of Longmont. And I'm here today just to give you a real quick update on some of the projects that we're working on currently. And if we have time, I'm happy to answer some questions if you have any. And of course, we can always follow up afterwards if you'd like to know anything else. So just to set the stage really briefly, what is sustainability? You kind of hear that term all the time. But here at the city of Longmont, we really think about three pieces to the sustainability puzzle here. So our definition of sustainability is meeting the social, environmental, and economic needs of the present generation without compromising, without compromising the ability to meet the needs of future generations. So a lot of folks, when they think about sustainability, they think about this environmental stewardship piece, right? Pollution, all that sort of thing. But we really also focus on social equity, so getting resources to folks who really need it the most. And then economic vitality, so making sure we have a strong community where everybody has the resources they need. And that all comes together, of course, and forms our sort of sustainability mission here in the middle. So we do have an office of sustainability here at the city of Longmont. It started out pretty small with just 1 or 2 staff, but we've grown, and we are now officially an office, or a department, if you will, within strategic integration is our overarching department. So we have several staff now who focus on a few different areas. We have one staff member whose entire focus is equity and engagement. She runs a group called our Equitable Climate Action Team. It's a group of volunteers who meet monthly. We really recruit what we call frontline community members for that group. So folks who most often bear the brunt of climate change. Those meetings are in Spanish with English interpretation. So we have a lot of folks who are coming to those meetings and getting presentations from city staff, and then giving feedback on how we can make those programs more equitable, more easy to access for the folks who really need them the most. So that's a really big piece of our work. I am the residential sustainability coordinator, so that's my role. I help anyone who lives in Longmont find ways to use less energy, so gas or electricity, use less water, start composting, whatever it might be. So my focus is residential. That also includes all of our outreach and communications to residents, so like I'm doing today. Yes?
You also take up concerns, complaints that the residential might have of the property or next property or neighbors or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes. A lot of times there's like other departments who are better suited to answer those questions, but I can certainly help direct them to the right folks. Like we get emails all the time about, hey, the top broke off my trash bin. Oh, I can't fix that, but I know who can. So happy to help out, with whatever you might be thinking of. We do have a business program, so we have a sustainable business program. I believe there's maybe 80 or close to 100 businesses in Longmont who have been certified through that program. We have an internal sustainability coordinator, so she focuses on our city operations, right? All the vehicles that the city owns, all of our buildings, all that sort of thing. We have a zero waste sustainability coordinator, so hopefully everyone has access to recycling now. That is required by law now in Longmont. So she's doing a lot of work and working on a big campaign with EcoCycle. We filmed some videos, which we're going to be releasing even more broadly here in the next few weeks. So she's got a lot going on. And then I put air quality here last with a question mark because we're hoping we can hire one more person who will really focus on air quality. Which I'm going to talk a little bit more about this afternoon, but of course it's a big issue and a big result of climate change. So there's a question mark on that one. Fingers crossed we'll be approved to grow our team.
Zach, could you speak about what you do in residential?
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
how we met, and I was very
Yeah.
impressed by your coming to the house.
Yeah, so one of the programs I do is actually with a group of volunteers who have been through a good amount of training with me. I send those volunteers out to anyone's home in Longmont to do what we call a sustainable home consultation. So 2 of those volunteers will come over to your home, they'll meet with you for up to an hour and a half and really chat with you about whatever you're most interested in. A lot of times that's reducing energy use in your house, so how to heat and cool your home more efficiently. We talk a lot about water conservation, of course. And then other things I mentioned like composting or how to get your electric vehicle charger or whatever you're interested in. They'll walk around your house with you, they'll bring a bag of goodies and offer you some efficient LED light bulbs and aerators to use less water in your sinks. They'll install a new shower head if you'd like one, some small things like that. So a lot of good advice and just another kind of perspective, another expert, if you will, a volunteer coming into your home, kind of helping you identify opportunities. We then send you a report afterwards with what we talked about, and that includes links to, hey, here's that rebate we mentioned for the electric vehicle charger, or here's how to do that radon test we talked about, or whatnot. So, yes.
Is it your group that does the sprinkler head evaluations
Assessments?
where
Yeah.
they'll measure the water flow and stuff like that?
So not
Is that
directly.
something-
So we, the city contracts with Resource Central.
Oh, Resource
They're a
Central.
nonprofit, out of Boulder. They serve like 40 or 50 cities now across the area. They train all the staff to do those. We basically pay them to run that program in Longmont. They handle all the logistics and it's free. So if you're not aware, if you have an in-ground sprinkler system at your home, you can get that inspected for free. They'll look for leaks. They'll reset your timer, they'll make sure everything's kind of dialed in and teach you a lot about how that system works. Again, it's totally free of charge through a partnership we have. I'm happy to share that info around after and get folks signed up. Yes?
I just xeriscaped my front yard
Yeah, nice.
and put in about 9 plants or so.
Okay.
And I eagerly look forward to my water bill.
Mm.
And I put the hose in, for the
Yeah.
sprinkler system.
Great.
And my God, my water went up almost 50% over last year.
Doing up. Okay.
So something's wrong.
Huh.
Could,
Essentially, yeah. So most folks now, pretty much everybody has a smart water meter. So we have very detailed data now on water usage. And one of the great things about that is we can detect leaks. So we can see continuous water usage flowing through a meter, and we reach out proactively to those folks to say, hey, you might have a leak, let's check on some stuff. So there's some things we could do, not me personally, but to look into that.
who do I contact?
I'd be happy to get you in touch if
Okay.
you drop me an email. I left a few copies of my business card back there.
Okay.
So our water resources folks, I don't have the access to log into the system and see all that data. So. But that's interesting to know. It does take a little bit of water to get those plants established that first
Yeah,
year.
that's-
But then once they're up and running, they really should go down in the following years. So that's interesting.
Right, so if it's a Hispanic family, monolingual Spanish speaker,
Mhm.
and you say you do a home visit, check, what's working, what you suggest,
Yeah.
whatever. There's somebody that goes with you that speaks Spanish to explain to people what's
Yeah.
going on and stuff like that. I mean, so they don't hesitate call, because they don't know whether they're, the assumption is, oh, they don't speak Spanish, so
Yeah, yeah.
why do I bother? So we can, that's what I do, let them know. No, you let them know, they will say yes or no, whatever.
Yeah, so currently I don't have any bilingual or Spanish-speaking volunteers. If we have a monolingual Spanish-speaking home that would like to go through that program or get some of those other resources, we can usually find a staff person who speaks Spanish to come out and do that. So I'm hoping if you all know anyone, any bilingual or Spanish-speaking folks who would like to go through my training and become one of my volunteers. That's been a goal of ours for many years, and we're slowly working towards that. We have to redevelop all of our training materials and make them culturally appropriate. You can't just take everything we do in English and, one for one move it over to Spanish. There's other cultural differences that we want to incorporate too. So we're working on that, but we can have some staff
So
members do it.
do you advertise, saying we don't have right now?
Yeah.
That's how out there, or someone else can say, oh,
Yeah,
this person.
on our sign up pages, it says we don't currently offer appointments in Spanish. You're still welcome to sign up, and like I said, if folks want to go through or have a phone call with somebody, we can certainly offer that.
But how will they know? They don't know how to get a call, whatever.
Mhm.
The City of Long Community Relations Office, they can
Yeah,
refer
yeah.
them or ask.
So this program's really tricky because I rely on volunteers, and they only have so much time every month. So I've promoted the program in the city line, citywide newsletter, and I get 30 or 40 or 50 people signed up, and then I have a really long waiting list. So I have to balance how much I promote it with how many openings I have and how many volunteers I have. So I did put it in the senior center email that goes out a few weeks ago, and I think I saw a few folks sign up. But like I said, I don't do a lot of promotion specifically in Spanish because I don't have the Spanish volunteers right now. So that's a little bit of a balancing act. But yeah, you should start seeing it around more and more as I get more volunteers and have more opportunities. What I want to avoid is having 100 people all sign up and then saying, oh, sorry, now you have to wait 6 months or 8 months to get your appointment because we don't have enough openings. So yeah, it's a balancing act, but good questions. Thank you guys. Oops. All right, I'm going to cruise through these next few pieces. Let's see. Let's try this. Nice. Okay, so of course we have a sustainability plan for the city. It outlines a lot of different sustainability targets that we have. I won't go through all of these. But some of the biggest ones are 100% renewable energy supply by 2030. I could talk for a long time about where our energy comes from and how that's all going. We're going to get pretty close to that goal. We won't quite reach it by 2030, it looks like. Another big one is 75% waste diversion by 2030. So that means diverting our waste from the landfill and either reusing, recycling, composting it. That's why we have a staff person focused specifically on that. And then a 3% per capita reduction in water use. We're actually doing really good on this. Even though the population of Longmont is growing, we're not really using much water. So we're being more efficient with what we have, which is great. So how can you keep track of all that stuff? How can you see what we're doing, what the city's doing? One great website we have, which you may not have heard of, is called Longmont Indicators. This is separate from the main city's website, but essentially it houses these 7 plans, I believe. So you'll see the sustainability plan. Envision Longmont is like the city's overarching multimodal comprehensive plan. Essentially you can click through all of these and see all the actions that we said we're going to do and how we're doing on all of them and who's the main contact person for each one. So I won't get into it, but it's very, very detailed. It helps us be very transparent and show you what we're falling behind on, what we're doing great on, what we haven't been able to start yet. It also includes greenhouse gas emissions modeling, which is pretty technical, so I won't get into it, but you can actually play around with these graphs in different scenarios and say, hey, if we're not able to transition our fleet vehicles to electric to that goal we said we were gonna meet, how does that change our greenhouse gas emissions? And this graph will actually change as you click those things on and off. So anyway, this is how much greenhouse gases Longmont is emitting. You see a huge drop here going into 2030 because that is when our coal-fired power plant that we receive our power from is scheduled to go offline. So again, I could talk a lot more about that, but we don't have time today. So
But how's that, so that's Rawhide, right?
yeah,
So Rawhide's north of here somewhere, right?
it's
Or
almost in Wyoming. Yeah,
It's up near Wyoming.
yeah. I got to
so-
do a tour of it. It's insane.
Yeah.
They
so-
open the blast door and it's just this huge fireball,
Yeah.
creating steam, generating electricity, but polluting.
So how do you model something that's gonna have a direct impact on greenhouse gas emissions in Wyoming
Yeah,
down to Longmont?
yeah. So great question. My colleague Francie really leads that work, but essentially there's different tiers of emissions. So there's like tier 1 emissions, which is emissions that we generate right here in Longmont. So your furnace in your home burning gas to heat your house, this building, the vehicles that are driving within Longmont, that's tier 1 right here, stuff that we kind of have direct control over. Then there's tier 2, which are emissions that are generated elsewhere, but are generated because of activity going on in Longmont. So we're keeping the lights on and using electricity here. That energy is being generated somewhere else, but we're using it and we're the cause of some of those emissions. So
Right.
that gets
I get
counted,
you.
but at
So
a
it's
different
power
level,
used.
yeah. Because, Fort Collins, Estes Park, they're also
Yeah.
using that energy too. So they're responsible for some of those emissions. So
Yeah.
it gets broken down all the way along like that.
So
Even
do you
like
look
car
at-
trips that come into Longmont and then leave Longmont are counted differently than car trips just within Longmont. So it's very, very detailed. But that's about the extent of my knowledge.
Do you look at, and we could talk about this
Yeah,
offline,
sure.
but do you look at data center activity, both current and
Question.
proposed? A lot of that's over east of
Yeah.
us, but
Yeah.
not so much in
That's a
Boulder
good question.
County. Do you look at, because that obviously has a projected impact on electricity usage.
Yeah, and water.
And in some cases, they're generating their own electricity,
Yeah.
right?
I would venture to guess that data centers are, I would say I'm 90% confident they're included in that like tier 3, or maybe I believe there's a tier 3 emissions. I don't know like specifically for the Longmont context how those are getting factored in, or the future piece of that. I'm not sure, but I know my colleague Francie would be happy to talk about that. She loves talking about the environmental impact of AI in data centers, and she's the one who does this modeling. So
Okay.
I'd be happy to get her in touch with her if you'd like, but I'd be pretty confident it's in there. It's all a standard protocol that we follow so that we can be compared with other cities and other states and other communities. So it's not like we just made this up. It's a pretty rigorous protocol. Yeah.
Who actually builds your models?
So I think Francie does a lot of this, but this website is, through a company that's Dutch, I think, that helps do a lot of this graphing and get it online for us. But our staff person, Francie, does our greenhouse gas modeling, which we do, I believe, every 3 or 4 years. We kind of redo it and reassess where we're at. So a lot of that's in-house, a lot of it's just gathering data that's already out there and putting that all together. So yeah, it's a bit of a combination, I think. But yeah. Okay, I've got a few more slides here, and I'm sure you guys have other stuff on your agenda, so I don't want to take too long. We have been pretty successful in a lot of our work, so just to toot our own horn here, the Climate Disclosure Project over there on the left, we got an A- score. We basically, again, report a lot of the data and things that we're doing, so we're proud of that. Longmont was the very first city in the United States to be awarded this Making Cities Resilient designation that actually comes from the United Nations. So my boss was invited to go present and receive this award in South Korea. Pretty awesome. A lot of that has to do with the Resilient St. Vrain project after the 2013 floods and how we responded and are rebuilding and reforming that river channel to be more resilient. So big shout out there for Longmont. And then currently, just yesterday, we had our kickoff meeting to get Longmont LEED certified. So you may have heard of LEED for buildings, right? You can have a LEED Platinum certified building. Well, now an entire city can get certified LEED. So there's 130, 140 cities in the US that have done this. There's only 6 in Colorado. So we'll hopefully be the 7th. I believe Westminster and Commerce City are also doing it right now. But others include Denver, Fort Collins, Pueblo County, Steamboat, not Boulder, I noticed. But anyway, we're very excited to get LEED certified, hopefully. I saw that Denver just reached LEED Platinum. So anyway, just another designation and way to recognize that Longmont really is a leader, I think, in this sustainability realm. We really benefit from being in Boulder County, of course, and the folks who live here, but I think nationwide, we can be really proud about what Longmont's doing. I've been to conferences and other events around the country, and other communities are not as far along as we are, so we can be proud of being here. Okay, in my last few minutes here, I want to talk about extreme heat and air quality. I know it's on everybody's mind these days. Really loving the cooler temperatures today, but I'm sure you've all noticed we've got some wildfire smoke, and it's going to get hot again here in no time. So that's a big focus of my work. So this is a new visual I put together. You're the first group I've shared it with. It's a little confusing, so I'll try to explain it. But essentially, each one of these blocks here is like a month on the calendar, right? It's 31 days. On the farthest left there is the 2020s. Each column here jumps 20 years. So 2020s, 2040s, 2060s, 2080s. And essentially, the different colors are showing how many hot days we're going to have. So yellow being days above 90, red being days above 95, and purple days above 100. So in the 2020s, we have about a month of hot temperatures, is what this is saying. By the 2040s, we got a month and a half, a lot more days in the red, and so on. It's moving up. So by the 2080s, we can basically expect our entire summer to be over 90 degrees, a lot of days over 95, and 2 weeks over 100. So now this is a high emissions scenario, so this assumes we do nothing right now to change our habits and reduce our emissions and all of that. But what really struck me when you think about this is that a kid born in the 2020s, in this decade, right, is going to be turning 60 years old in the 2080s. They're going to be getting older, right, getting into their 60s or 70s, and we know that older adults are more vulnerable to impacts of extreme heat. So I have young kids, so when my kids are getting older and they're retiring, this is what their summer is going to look like if we do nothing, right? Every day is just going to be out of control hot. Sorry, these are supposed to be yellow. I messed that up. Anyway, hopefully this kind of shows you, and I'm sure you'd all agree that Longmont is getting hotter, and this is the future we have in store if we do nothing. So that's why we're here, to help try to reverse this trend or slow it as much as possible.
So Zach, can I make
Yes.
a comment?
Sure.
When you say we do nothing, that impact is as much a result of what's going on in Texas with their thousands of data centers.
Yeah.
And all the and other CO2 producing activities across the country,
Mm-hmm.
than it has as much, well, more than what we do here in Longmont. So
Yeah.
how do you figure out what direct impact we can have on that when 99% of that is outside of our control of what we do in Longmont?
Yeah, it's a great question. Everything is interconnected, and we're not going to be able to solve this crisis on our own here. So, I think it takes us all being active and voicing our opinion through voting, of course, and legislation. And, I think there's a lot of great stuff going on at the state level and in the Western U.S. And I think we just all need to be aware of what's happening and voice our opinions when we can, and try to push for change and tell people that we care and that we want to leave this place better for our kids. So yeah, it's really difficult. We can't really separate things cleanly, like we talked about the tier 1 and 2 emissions. It's very similar. So they actually take that data and do so this says high emissions scenario. So we do nothing, we continue to emit as we are now. There's other scenarios which are less extreme, like if we can reduce our emissions by 10%, this is what it will look like. It wouldn't be quite so bad. Obviously, this graphic here is to kind of shock you and drive home the point, so I chose the worst case scenario. But luckily, we're not on a course really to go here with high emissions. I think we're gonna be a step or two down from this and more of a moderate emissions scenario. And I think there's a lot of great things going on in Europe and other places that are gonna help out as well. So yeah, I wish I had a better answer, but it's really difficult. Yes. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I saw a report from, I forget the name of the International Association, the Climate Association.
Yeah.
They said that the modeling that had been used in the past was making the prediction worse than it probably should be.
Okay.
And,
I haven't seen that. I wasn't aware, but
okay.
I guess that sounds good.
Well, I don't know. Some people are challenging that.
Interesting.
I was just wondering if you.
No, I'd be interested to see that if you could send it over to me afterwards, or
Yeah.
or I can look it up. Huh.
Well, that's good news if it's true, but I don't
Yeah.
know if it is.
Yep. Yeah, we went back and found some errors in some of our data, and it actually made things look worse. But we put that up there. We made it transparent. So yeah, mistakes like that can happen, and we're always reiterating. Okay. Yes, sir.
You said you made a comment a while ago, we have enough water. What does that mean?
We have enough. Well, I don't know. Yeah, so water is a great topic. I could certainly talk about that all day. So long story short, we're having monthly water resource check-in meetings. We're in a mild drought status right now in Longmont, so that requires the city itself to reduce its own water use by 10%. We're mostly doing that on parks, golf courses, those sorts of spaces. There are no restrictions for residents at this point, although if we were to move to the next stage, there would be. So Longmont is pretty well positioned as far as our water rights go. Water law in Colorado is pretty wacky, and I won't get into it, but Longmont's been around for a long time. So we have senior water rights compared to some other communities which haven't been around for quite as long, like Aurora, which you see doing a lot of water restrictions. We have Ralph Price Reservoir, which is a huge asset for us, which I believe is full. The priority this year was to make sure we fill that bucket, that reservoir. I know some of the other reservoirs in town are a little bit lower, but those aren't as important for our drinking water and our water supply. So anyway, our water resources team is phenomenal. I actually just got to go on a tour of all the West Slope water infrastructure. So there's a tunnel underneath Rocky Mountain National Park. It brings us water from Grand Lake. I just got to go on a tour of that. I went to Chimney Hollow. There's all these reservoir projects, and it's pretty fascinating how we manage water and how we get it over here. So we're in a good place. We're in an okay place for now, considering the drought. If you've been up to Lake Granby, it's pretty low, and that's our really big bucket, our reservoir for this Front Range area. They told me there's plenty of water in there to get us through this summer and next summer. It's got basically 1 year left of water supply in it, but if we have another bad winter or 2 bad winters in a row, then we're really going to be in trouble. So yeah, we can all do our part to conserve. The city has, again, been using those smart meters to identify leaks in our own infrastructure, and I think just among the parks and whatnot, they estimate they've saved like 4 million gallons in the last month just by going out using that data to find leaks and fix them quickly. So I've been driving around, I've seen sprinklers going off and leaking, and I've been reporting them and telling people, and they go out and check them. So y'all are welcome to do that too. We don't necessarily want to snitch on our neighbors and whatnot, but there is a waste of water ordinance. So if there's something that's clearly broken and just running, gushing water down the street, that's not allowed. They'll get a warning, and then if it's not fixed, there are fines that will come. So we do want to know about that sort of thing, but I got sidetracked.
No, that's great.
We're in an okay place for now, better than some communities in Colorado, but yeah, we're certainly still in a drought. And even if we get a monsoon this year, it won't necessarily help us that much. What really helps us is snow in the winter that melts and fills those reservoirs. So Anyway, I love this stuff. I could go on and on. Thank you for the great questions. But I did just want to touch briefly on air quality. So if you don't know, there's two primary pollutants here we're worried about in the Front Range. The first, of course, is wildfire smoke. That really comes through as particulate matter, also called PM, particulate matter. Those are very, very fine particles that can even get absorbed, of course, into your lungs and into your bloodstream and affect your health. Ozone is our other primary pollutant. When I say ozone, I'm talking about ground level ozone. You've probably all heard of the ozone layer way up high in outer space in the atmosphere that protects us from the cosmic rays and radiation from the sun. That's good ozone, right? We want that. I remember when I was a kid, it's, oh no, there's a hole in the ozone layer. It's patched up, it's doing better. But what is dangerous for us is ground level ozone, down here where we live and breathe. That's formed when we burn fossil fuels, gasoline in our cars, our furnaces in our homes or whatnot. That reacts with sunlight and creates ground level ozone. So it's worst in the summer on really hot sunny days. So my recommendation is everybody should be checking the air quality, especially this time of year. A lot of folks use a weather app on your phone that probably has the air quality on it, so you're welcome to look there. I would just double check that the air quality info you're looking at includes both wildfire smoke and ozone. If you see anything that says air quality index, that's a good indication that it's an index combining those two values for smoke and ozone and giving you one kind of reading. If you're familiar with purple air, they're like sensors you can put around your home and whatnot. That doesn't read ozone, it only does particulate matter.
PM2.5, yeah.
Which
There's
is
a couple
good.
of other things you can check on it,
Yeah.
I think. PM10
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, but it won't tell you about ozone. So
Yeah.
you got to make sure you're paying attention to both, essentially. So I like this one. It's from the EPA. It's called Air Now. It's an app you can get on your phone or a website you can bookmark and check. You set your zip code. You can save other locations in there. So if you have family in another community, you can keep an eye on their air quality too. But it gives you a really easy color rating here from green all the way up to kind of this dark color, purple, red, whatever you want to call that. And even a forecast of what's expected over the next few hours and the next few days. So check this. I check every morning. If the air quality is for me in the orange, this is what they call unhealthy for sensitive groups. So folks with asthma, older adults, kids, anybody really. When it gets up to the orange is when I stop opening my windows and letting fresh air into my home because I have young kids. Right now, when I took this screenshot, it was in the moderate, almost into the orange here. So really good way just to keep an eye on the current air quality. Okay, and then just to touch on extreme heat, as I showed you, it's getting hotter here. We've been doing a lot over the last few years to help people stay cool and safe. Of course, extreme heat can be very dangerous. So I just wanted to recap a few things that we've done so far. We, several years ago, did a climate risk map that identified extreme heat as the biggest climate risk facing Longmont. We looked at extreme cold and flooding and wildfire, and really extreme heat was looking like the biggest risk since we mitigated a lot of the flooding issues with that resiliency and drainage project back in 2013. We also did a heat watch mapping project where volunteers put temperature and humidity sensors on their vehicles and drove around the city 3 different times on the same day to map heat islands so we could get data on spots that were hotter than others. We did some bilingual cooling solution workshops where we had big maps of neighborhoods printed out and people came in and told us things we could do to help their neighborhoods cool off. We did a citywide survey. We got about 800 responses to that. We had an interactive display out here probably 2 summers ago. We did some interviews with some folks here, including just phone and even video recorded interviews. We have a heat action plan that outlines a lot of these different steps that we can take. We've implemented some cooling solutions at parks. So this photo is a new misting structure that went up at Lanyon Park this year. So you press a button on there and it sprays water from the top and helps kids cool off. It's very safe because there's no standing water, nobody can drown. And we didn't have to put any drainage in the ground, so that was great. But currently, we just finished the design for a splash pad at Kensington Park. So that's supposed to start later this year. Again, it'll be a thing where you hit a button, water sprays, great area for kids to play and cool off, and to bring the community together. There'll be kind of communal seating areas, so hopefully families can meet a new neighbor, see their friends, hang out and cool off. We also added some shade structures at Spangler Park. We have a really cool cooling tent that I've been bringing to events this summer. We'll be out at Unity in the community. I heard y'all talking about that. We were at Cinco de Mayo and Pride and a few other events. We give out cold water and sunscreen and cooling towels, and it sprays mist, and people love it. It was a huge hit. I try to talk to people about how to keep their homes cool during that, but they just want to come and cool off with us, which is fine too. I'm like, well, maybe sign up for my newsletter. We have a Cool Stop bus stop coming, which we teamed up with Art in Public Places, and got a local artist to design a custom bus stop that's fully ADA accessible and approved by RTD, and it's basically looks like a arching sort of sun, rays of sun almost, but it's meant to provide shade at a very hot bus stop over at 4th and Martin. I think right across from the cannery there, there's that gas station across the street. It's
That's
gonna go
3rd
right,
Martin.
yeah, 3rd, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna go there hopefully in a few months. Keep an eye out for that. And hopefully we're gonna do more. It'll be like a series of bus stops. And then we have a Keep Cool Longmont communications campaign, which I won't chat too much about, but that was all stuff we've done or are still doing to some degree. So currently, a few of the projects I'm working on, we are providing free air conditioners to anyone in Longmont who just really needs a way to cool off in their home. I've had a huge response over the last couple of weeks, especially from folks in manufactured or mobile home communities. I have a handful of those left. They're going to run out pretty soon. It's not the ultimate solution, right, to the problem, but it helps address that immediate need of needing to cool off. It's not an emergency cooling program. We can't send somebody out the next day to fix your air conditioner or whatnot. But essentially, I'm ordering portable air conditioners from Home Depot and having them shipped directly to the person. They arrive like the next day, which is pretty nice. So let me know if you know anybody in the community who could really benefit from that. We do then try to connect folks to other resources to make their home more efficient, weatherized, better insulation, whatever that may be, more of a long-term fix for the home.
Is that, and I guess my question's to the group here, our resource specialists, are they channeling, like if somebody comes to a resource specialist and says, hey, I need an air conditioner, I've got a problem, is it getting channeled?
They use all the resources available to help connect them to those additional needs to make sure those types of, we'll call them basic needs are.
I assumed it probably was happening, but.
Oh, yeah. So it's what's available here in Longmont and Boulder County as a whole. So
Yeah, Boulder County does this too, so.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is that an annual program? Will it be next year also?
Yeah, so we just started last year. We were given some money to provide home cooling support, and the boss wanted to keep it going this year, so this is our 2nd year. We just doubled the budget because we got such a big response, so I'm pretty sure it will continue in the future. One hurdle is these things are heavy and they can be hard to install, so that can be tricky for older folks or people with mobility issues. So we're doing our best to figure that out. So if y'all know any volunteers, or we've teamed up with Cultivate, if you know that nonprofit, they have a few volunteers in town who can help people get these installed, but they don't have any Spanish-speaking volunteers. And 85% of the people who've requested a free air conditioner are Spanish-speaking so far. So again, it's a small program. We don't have a huge budget, so I'm not able to advertise it super widely. You won't see it in the catalogs or the magazines or anything. I shared it with like 3 or 4 community organizations, like the Our Center, Intercambio is the big one, El Centro, Amistad, a few others like that, and just word of mouth, it gets out, and then we run out of budget. So yeah, it's small, but we will probably continue it.
How many units did you install this year?
So far, I've given out 40, and I have budget for maybe like 15 more, and I saw I got 5 or 6 requests yesterday, so we'll end up doing around 50 or so, and we did about 50 last year. Boulder County has a similar program, so when we run out of funding, we're gonna start sending people to the Boulder County program. The problem with that one is there's more hurdles, there's more red tape. They're gonna make you prove your income, or they're gonna make you sign up for the CARE program, which does weatherization and whatnot, which is good, but it's a hurdle to a lot of folks, especially if you're a renter and you live in an apartment. You're not the one who's going to be, upgrading insulation and doing, deeper retrofits to your space. So our program doesn't have any of that. You just tell me you live in Longmont and you need cooling in your home, and that's enough. Very few barriers. We also know people are sensitive to even share their address with us right now, or their phone number. So there's an option for folks to request the air conditioner for someone else. So I've had staff at the Hour Center say, hey, we have this person who needs an AC. Can you order it and ship it to me, and I'll bring it to them? Right? I don't want to share your address. And I'm totally fine with that. Absolutely understand. So try to make it really easy for folks to get in the door. Anyway, that's ongoing, but it will wrap up soon. So let me know if you know anybody who needs one. Growing Shade is a really great program where we are distributing free, lower maintenance shade trees to folks who live in certain neighborhoods of Longmont that don't have enough tree canopy, tend to have fewer trees. That'll be coming up. There's a kickoff event in a few weeks, and then the trees will be given out in October. In order to get one for free, you need to live, east of Main Street, and be in an area that has less than 25% tree canopy. So I'm sorry I don't have a map showing where that is right now, but I can get you in touch if you think that might be you. We could maybe get you a free shade tree this fall. That's really powerful because it's really our only way to increase tree canopy and shade on private property. We can do that on city-owned property. We can plant more trees, but that's our way to try to encourage tree growth on private property. You also get a free tree care tool, so if you need a garden hose or a shovel or anything to care for that tree, you'll get that for free. We're also going to come check up on that tree for 3 years to make sure it gets established. So getting trees established can be tough, right? If you don't water it properly, they'll die, all that sort of stuff. So we're working with a nonprofit. They go around, they check every tree, and they reach out to folks if your tree's not looking too healthy. So they're there as a resource because it can be tough. Okay, and then I'm almost done here. If anyone would like to get rid of your old, loud, clunky, polluting, gas-powered lawn equipment, so we're talking lawnmowers, leaf blowers, string trimmers, even snow blowers. We have a brand new event coming up on August 15th in just a few days. You can bring that gas-powered item to Ace Hardware right here in Longmont. If you bring us a handheld item, like a leaf blower or a trimmer, we will give you a $100 voucher for the purchase of an electric alternative or replacement. You'll also get 30% off from a state tax incentive. If you bring us a lawnmower or a bigger, push gas-powered tool, we'll give you a $200 voucher. So we're trying to get these old, noisy, polluting lawn care pieces of equipment out of use. We will put them in a huge dumpster and recycle them. You do have to drain the gas and oil before you bring it to us, please. But that's a really great way to reduce that ground level ozone that we talked about earlier. I don't remember where I saw this stat, but running an old push gas-powered lawnmower for 1 hour is equivalent to driving 11 cars for 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
So those lawnmowers don't have catalytic converters, they don't have exhaust systems like a car does. So that pollution just goes straight into the air and creates ozone, and we all breathe that. And nobody wants to listen to the neighbor mowing lawn all day, or breathe those fumes. So really cool event. We're partnered with Ace Hardware and the Air Quality Council. We have $15,000 in vouchers to give out this time around. So we can do 100, 150 people. And I hope to do it again next spring. I know we're kind of late in the yard care season. Had to get insurance for this and whole thing. But anyway, bring your stuff out. There is a sign-up form for that just to kind of clean your spot. I'm happy to send that around after.
I did this through another program.
Yeah, they used to do it, mow down pollution. It's kind of a revamp of that.
I have a question about all of the lawn care companies
Yeah.
that exist around here. Do they have to meet any certain amount of standard in order, because they have big honking
Yeah. Big
pieces of equipment?
Great question. Yep. So, for the private companies, no. There are some who specialize in that. That's kind of their niche, right? Is they use all electric equipment, and folks can certainly search for those and choose to hire that sort of company. The state did pass a law that requires municipal governments, so City of Longmont, to use electric equipment during the summer months for our own parks maintenance and whatnot. So a lot of our park staff, when you see them out there leaf blowing or trimming or whatnot, they should be using electric equipment. I think for some of the larger lawnmowers and types of things, especially for golf courses and whatnot, the technology's not there yet, the battery capacity, so they're still using some gas stuff, but not for private companies. They will be required to compost all of their yard waste, all the waste they collect, but not till like 2029. That's part of our universal recycling ordinance to reduce waste, so that was one of our big goals. So the last step of that is to require landscaping companies to compost all the leaves, all the branches, all the stuff they're collecting. Right now, a lot of that goes to the landfill, which is not great.
Have you had any deaths related to heat exhaustion this summer?
Any deaths? Oh, not that I've heard of. Not in this area, not in Colorado. That it's possible. There is a dashboard from the state that tracks like hospitalizations and whatnot from heat. We do try to push this issue with our public safety department a little bit more, right? We open warming shelters in the winter, but we don't have any cooling shelters. Right? Informally we do, right? Folks can come here during business hours or library or whatnot, but Denver opens up cooling shelters when it gets hot.
Do you think that you're meeting the need as far as air conditioners, or does that need to be doubled or tripled? Or do you have a feel for that?
The need is certainly there. Just seeing the response without even really promoting it has been huge. So I'm positive there's a lot more need out there. So yeah, I think doubling or tripling could help, but again, it doesn't solve the issue.
Doesn't solve the basic problem.
Like sure, I'd be happy to get you an air conditioner, but then I really want to go to the next step and help make your home more efficient, right? More well insulated, get you a heat pump. So we've been talking with Boulder County. They have a very similar program. When we run out of funding, we'll send people there, I think I said, but they're thinking about their program as more of a transitional program. So like, we'll get you this air conditioner right now to keep you cool in the immediate future, but it's really a stepping stone for us to get you a high efficiency heat pump, which also cools your home, or get you enrolled in the weatherization assistance program or whatever it may be. So hopefully we can head in that direction too, because I want to get to the root of the issue.
Zach, something to keep in mind too is there are actually quite a few homes in Longmont that only have 100 amp service,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine is one of them.
Mhm.
So heat pump, non-starter, unless he pays a lot of money
Yeah.
to have 200 amp brought in. So if the city could do anything to help mitigate those expenses,
Yeah, good point.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, our office is right next to Longmont Power, because that's who we work with the most. So yeah, I'll bring up that point. Yeah, it's a great point. I'm glad plug-in solar got approved. There are some plug-in heat pump water heaters now. You don't need the 220. So anyway, yeah, thank you. Good point. Okay, I'm sure you guys have other stuff on your agenda. As you can see, I could talk all day. But,
Zach, thank you.
I think that's all I have for now. Oh, there is a Longmont Sustainability Coalition meeting tomorrow. If you want to hear a little bit more, come over to Parkway Food Hall at 5:15 tomorrow. It's very casual. There'll be a lot of similar updates, but I have a guest presenter coming from EcoCycle to talk about our zero waste campaign. Francie, my now supervisor, is coming to talk about that LEED certification and renewable energy credits, if you're interested in that, and how Platte River Power has been selling them and didn't tell us they were going to do that. And then I have somebody coming to talk about Vision Zero, which is all about traffic safety. So if you're interested in any of those topics, Parkway Food Hall tomorrow, 5:15. Come early, grab some food, and hang out and chat.
Thanks, Al.
Okay.
Zach, thank you so
Thank you
much.
all. Yeah.
Great
And I got a
information.
few copies of my business
No, I
cards,
haven't
so
read
reach
that.
out. I don't have all the answers. I've been here almost, I just had my 4-year anniversary. So I will find the folks who do have the answers if it's something outside of my realm.
Give the date, place, and time, for the meeting tomorrow.
This is called the Longmont Sustainability Coalition. It's a very casual group. It's tomorrow, 5:15 p.m. at Parkway Food Hall. And yeah, we'll start the meeting at 5:15, so if you want to grab food, maybe come a few minutes earlier. But it's a great group. We usually get about 15, 20 people, all very sustainability minded, and there's time to interact and mingle and introduce yourself, so you may meet some other folks who are really passionate about whatever you're passionate about, and you make a new friend. So we invite you to come down.
Zach, you were gonna pass a form around of some sort? I forget what you said about signing up for.
We mentioned like the sprinkler system,
What did
checkup, and the AC program. If anybody wants to sign up for any of this stuff, or the home consultations we offer with my volunteers, just reach out, just shoot me a quick email, and I can send you the link to whatever you're interested in.
It was a great service. They came to our house and did the sustainability. It saved our water, and they made some installation suggestions. It's worth the investment of time.
Yeah, it's a really easy starting place, and then you can go more in depth from there.
Plus, they changed all of our shower heads
Nice.
and faucets for us. Great.
All right. Well,
Thanks
thank you all.
again.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you all for attending this. Thanks for the information.
Absolutely.
Take a minute. John,
That's great, thank you.
set up for the presentation.
Let me get on to the public. I didn't even get that far. Could be my computer. Sure, Mark. Oh, look at that.
Which HDMI is it?
Yeah.
Stand up a second.
I think you've all gotten a copy of what John and I will be presenting to the city council next week at their regular meeting.
Yes.
Love to have you all, whoever can be there with us, August 11th, 7 o'clock.
Grab.
Don't leave now.
At 7 o'clock, you said?
7 o'clock. I'm not sure what time we actually present, but let's see.
The 11th.
They try to do that kind of stuff towards the beginning,
Yeah.
before people start, before they start getting into the weeds.
Yeah. So,
So the way we structured this, John Higgins is gonna go through the first 3 bullets, ending up on the food security update, and then I'm gonna take over for John and talk about our current focus in 26 and going into 27, and focus on 3 areas that we've identified, which we've already been doing really. So it's not a shocker for anyone. So we'll be focusing on employment, outreach, and the senior needs survey that Dave Wren has been really heading that one up very, very well. So with that, you want to?
yeah, let's go back. So the introduction. In 2016, the city of Longmont released its Envision Longmont Multimodal and Comprehensive Plan. The plan was designed to reflect on Longmont's strengths and assets and explore future possibilities. On page 13 of this 188-page comprehensive plan states that, I quote, older adults are set to become the largest segment of the population over the next 20 to 30 years, and they will require housing and needs and services that meets our unique needs, their unique needs. Those unique needs, in addition to housing, transportation, and sustainability, have now come to include food security, employment, and survey-driven needs research, which are all areas that the Senior Center Advisory Board members are focused on addressing. The Longmont Senior Center, as you will see shortly, is the city's hub to gather, promote, and disseminate that information to Longmont's 55 and older population. So we'll talk about the board's current activities, past and present, future. Update on the food security initiative, which is our first really significant outreach program for the senior center to bring people here to feed them, provide food. And what that's generated is the advisory board's decision to push in other areas, such as employment, outreach. And a needs survey that specifically decides, shows us what senior needs are. And what do we really need? And you saw that beginning with the new survey that just went out that we all should have gotten an email for. So the past present focus has been food security, housing, healthcare, transportation. And our current focus, 26-27, obviously outreach, employment, and the needs survey. That needs survey, again, specific needs of seniors. This year marks the 50th anniversary Golden Jubilee of this facility serving seniors here in Longmont. Roughly 30%, it's an extraordinary number, 30% of Longmont's population are 55 years old or older. In the past 3 years, over 300,000 seniors have walked through the front doors of this senior center. That number is going up. In 2024, the advisory board began a concerted effort on senior needs. We've been talking for years about transportation, housing, and the city's been responsive. And clearly, food security, and now in efforts to provide services critical to that community. The food security, we picked that, go ahead, Tom. We picked that specifically because last year, we presented in May, we hadn't started the food table. But since then, we started that because over 9% of the senior population in Colorado is food insecure. And according to Colorado, to the community food share, that number is higher in Longmont. Here's the issue, one of the issues. Older adults who are even marginally food insecure will present as 14 years older than their actual age. And it increases these issues about heart attack, asthma, congestive heart failure. Food security is definitely a health issue. Community food share, which is part of the Rocky Mountain Food Bank, delivers over 1 million pounds of food each month to Broomfield and Boulder County, and the majority of that food comes to Longmont. And that number is rising also. Now, the city does do things to the nonprofits. Here are the groups they also support, but the demand is outstripping their abilities, and those funds are being affected. Here's what we have done here by the advisory board. During 18 hours over 12 months, an hour and a half every one Saturday a month, we support approximately 858 households, fed over 2,000 individuals, and distributed more than 16,000 pounds of food in an hour and a half, 12 times a year. What happened at the end of 2025 was the Friends of the Senior Center organized food carts inside the Senior Center. And after a slow start in January of 2026, they're now up to averaging over 40 pounds of food per day, which would be another 10,000 pounds of food per year. So it's 30,000 pounds of food going to seniors just here at the Senior Center. And that number is increasing. What's been interesting is as we see the households averaging about 75 to 80 households, the number of people we're feeding in households is growing. It points to a growing need specifically. Some of the volunteers, all members of the advisory board have been present at every single food table. We serve this community, the even city council members, which we want to thank you very much for being there or showing up. But again, the numbers of people are rising, household needs are rising.
just want to make a quick comment, and Marta Moreno has definitely been a part of this. You know, her picture's not up here on the screen.
She's complaining about she's not there showing the eggs or the huevos.
I wanted to put a picture, but her agent said, no pictures of Martha because she's too famous already. Oh, she's looking at both of us. I'd like to ask John Pillman, Vice Chair of the Board, to step up and talk about what's happening next. Where do we go?
Sure. So what we're trying to build out here is really as many areas as we can influence and focus on that are affecting our seniors, the challenges facing our seniors from an economic standpoint, from environmental, from a health standpoint, etc. So there are 3 areas that we identified towards actually the end of 2025 that we felt a strong need to incorporate into our programs and into our advocacy. And those areas, which I'll go into more detail in a minute, are employment, outreach, and conducting a comprehensive and timely needs survey so that we can continue to gain input on what our seniors need and try to provide as many resources as we can. So why did we decide to focus on these areas? Well, number one is, as John indicated earlier, seniors 55 plus make up 30% of our population. It's the largest population segment in Longmont, and it's the fastest growing segment in Longmont. Seniors over 80, that particular segment is the largest and fastest growing segment of all segments in Longmont, projected to increase by 220% over the next, I think that was over the next 5 years. I have a slide on that one. The other thing we found is, relative to employment, is that nationally about 21% of seniors over 65 are either employed or seeking work. And of those employed, about 38% of those people work part-time. I know from some volunteer things that I do with the Senior Center through SCTC, I'm seeing more and more people come in with computer-related issues, and they want to get more proficient on their computers because they're either looking for a job that requires some level of computer skills, or because they're doing things like sprucing up their resume or applying for jobs, and they need to be more computer literate in order to do so. Along with that, we're finding that seniors are retiring later in life. I don't have this particular stat on a slide, but I do remember that approximately 20 years ago, the number of seniors that were retiring at the age of 73 or older was like 18%. And now it's gone up, it's more than double. It's 37% now do not expect to retire until they're 73 or older. So the fact is that seniors are retiring later, and correspondingly, seniors that have retired are looking to go back into the workforce. And then last but not least, we need to gather data to make sure that we're continuing to target those programs and continue to advocate. So, as I mentioned earlier, Dave Brent has been real critical in working with the city, and I have a slide on this later that shows that we're already impactful in the current needs survey that just came out a few weeks ago. We're already able to impact some of the questions on that, and we expect that to continue going forward. I think of all the slides that I'll show today, this one really I think is the most impactful. So when we talk about the fact that seniors represent our largest population, over 55 is our largest population in Longmont, and over 80 is by far our fastest growing segment in Longmont. This is an area that the city needs to focus on. Now, I will say that we could probably have a whole another conversation about what's going on with our population 0 to 19 and 20 to 39. That's also concerning as well. But we're here today to talk about what's going on with seniors. And we need to focus on this because it's only going to, as population increases, these problems are only going to be exacerbated. So when it comes to employment outreach, some really positive things to note here. We had Dave Brennan and I actually attended a job fair that the workforce had in April, these employees were there, these employers were there. We had a chance to talk to pretty much all the employers. They're all interested in hiring seniors, some more than other because of the type of work that they do and how they see seniors could benefit them. So as an example, I talked to a woman that was in charge of 17 branches at Bank of Montreal, BMO Bank. She said seniors are critical. She said for two reasons. One is she goes, they work hard. She said, but the biggest thing she said is they're willing to work part-time. And most of the tellers they hire, as an example, are part-time tellers. Okay. I also want to note that there's a job fair coming up in September 15th here, and that job fair, we hope that all these employers will be coming as well. We'll have more news on that. I'm working with Workforce and getting a list of those employers, but we do expect a really great turnout there, and that's going to be focused specifically for seniors 55 plus during that workshop. Switching over to outreach, Lonnie Dooley's been doing a lot of great work on outreach, so that project's already moving forward, already in flight. What we try to stress during our outreach campaign are really 5 areas. One is the history of the senior center. We want everybody to know what we've historically done, what we do now, and what we project to do in the future. How we operate with relative to city funding and funding from our friends. What kind of services, give them a brief overview of the kind of services that we offer. Recreation activities, workshops, trips, that kind of thing. Getting involved and how they can learn more. So we'll leave them with some flyers and things and how they can reach out to the senior center, how they can contact us, etc. The other thing I want to mention is that Marta has gotten involved now. So Lonnie's approach has really been focusing on Longmont Housing Authority properties, which there's plenty of them. So there's a lot of work there to do. We did one to the organization Village on the Main. We did a recent outreach activity for Village on the Main, very well attended, a lot of great activity there. Marta's going to be working with some Latino organizations in Longmont and doing something similar, yet more targeted towards the needs of the Latino community.
And they're really enjoying it. Those ones that are coming new, they said, oh, Jesus. You know, I used to come because, for elderly, for viejitos. Then she started coming and she enjoyed it. Those viejitos are part of herself. So she's really enjoying coming to the different programs that we have. I attend most of the programs because I want to make sure they're coming. And they do enjoy it. They say, yeah, quit being a pain out of the pain, get over here and learn. They know how to use your phone or whatever. Now, I know that on Tuesdays somebody's helping them how to navigate their phones. So now they are learning. And I say, you don't have to speak the language. You can crochet, you can sew, and whatever, and learn to integrate, and they'll help each other. So that's what they enjoy.
Thank you. Now I'm going to switch into the final area with the needs survey. So the last kind of senior focused needs survey that we had done was in 2023. It was good. There was a lot of good data gathered, but we identified that there can be some improvements, and there are more survey activities taking place within the city now that the city has brought that type of activity in-house, right? So we have an in-house department that can run those kind of surveys. So we want to have more impact and more influence on those surveys in the future. There's kind of 3 areas in terms of goals and objectives, right? So we want to, number one, we want to assess those needs, right, of our surveys in a variety of areas: housing, medical care, transportation, etc. We want to then identify what services and programs are not fully utilized or we potentially should look at to address those needs that we've identified and assessed. And then we want to go to the city council, right? So number one, educate the city council on where we see there are some gaps in the types of services and programs that we could be offering or how we offer those. And then also look at how that might have an impact on what folks like Ronnie need in terms of budget, right? To be able to provide the resources, right? Because we can have all kinds of great ideas, but if we don't have the budget to provide the manpower that we need to be able to provide those, then we're probably not going to be providing those services.
It seems to me, John, that that survey really critical to helping Ronnie get more resource specialists
Yeah.
here, and of course, more office space.
Yeah, which is funny, because that's, remember that time you and I met 3 months ago, when I was taking over?
Yeah,
Because John, and Ronnie, very quickly, you said, 2 big things I always need, right? Head count and space.
right,
That's the only needs we have, and that's the only needs we're gonna have for the next few years.
yeah,
I mean, we need more space to provide more services, and we need more staff to provide those services, so they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's not physical items within our facility, it's not, any additional supplies, it's staff and space.
mhm.
Yeah.
What are you asking for this year?
Staff and space.
Yeah, that's all it's like, always is.
Yeah,
Right.
and they're critical. I mean, for those of us who work around the senior center and interact with staff and Ronnie and all of that, it's obvious. It's extremely obvious. You know, for the casual attendee here, probably not so much.
Right.
So, you know. to
Because
be
they're
able
so
to-
good that you, unless
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
right,
you can,
are seeing it every day,
right,
you
right,
don't see it.
yeah, you can shield or, yeah,
right.
the average
Right,
person.
it gets masks, it
You
gets
can mask
masked
it.
with all
That's
the,
probably a better term.
you know, adding the technology that the Friends added virtually some more space, because the other rooms could be utilized that could not previously be utilized. You know, like for the classroom that Laura and I teach out of now, we could not use it last year because it didn't have the technology that we utilized in putting our class together. This year, we're able to move to a bigger room
Right.
and free up the small room for other activities that are smaller.
Right.
So, you know, but that has a very limited lifespan. You know, you quickly fill that up with programming and whatever. And so the 2 critical things are gonna be space and staff.
Yeah.
How many staff are you asking for? What's on your proposed?
I've been asking for 2 resource specialists the past 3 years.
Right.
I mean, that is just to meet the need and demand from 2 years ago, and that, right, and so, for sure, 2 resource specialists, we need more. We're looking at the current staff we have right now to look at how we utilize skill sets, time, availability, job descriptions to fill some of the gaps that we know currently exist, to troubleshoot and problem solve in real time, right? Because we don't have more staff coming in right now, so how can we get creative with what we do have to meet the needs throughout the day? And
Right.
so as
Try to
as
be more
mentioned, right,
efficient,
we're just-
you know, that
we're
sort of thing.
constantly, exactly, we're constantly looking at processes, systems, workflow, to make sure that we're not only meeting needs in real time, but trying to anticipate the needs that are coming tomorrow, the next week. As mentioned, like, thanks to Bianca, and our team, we're very creative with our spaces of looking at the data of attendance for programs to say, okay, well, taking a look at tomorrow, this room is one of our largest rooms. If the program that is assigned to this space only had 7 people sign up, and one of the smaller rooms has 12 people and a wait list of 7 or 8 more, now we're looking at tomorrow, and Bianca does a good job of flip-flopping that, so that way we can call those people on the wait list to get them in the program, move them to this space, and move the other group to the space that really meets that need. So we're doing a lot of that every single day, but that takes time, that takes energy, that takes planning and certain skill set as well. And so we're constantly moving what we can, where we can, with what we have. So what am I gonna ask for? 2 additional resource specialists. I'd love to have more office staff, and we don't need another programmer. We need somebody who is available, flexible to be that floating person to meet the on classroom needs through all 6 classrooms. For each hour is a different group, right? So that's what we need just to function.
Ronnie, from a space standpoint, is there any possibility, or too early to tell, whether something at the new Y facility, at the new Y, the white facility, if and when the city takes that over, which I think is gonna happen eventually.
Definitely too early to tell, but even then, that's probably gonna be a 2-year project to get it up and running, so, you know, what are we gonna do now, from now until, 2020, 2028, 2029 to make sure we're not only meeting those needs, but meeting, we were talking about the growing senior population, but meet current needs, but that, the demand that's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
So it's,
I mean, you've seen programs double this year in people attending.
oh yeah. Yeah. Up to this point, we've already had over 40,000 visits through our door. And that was just through July. And you know, our winter programs bring a lot more people in when the weather's not as nice outside and everybody's looking to be indoors. You know, we have a lot of vacations, a lot of everything going on in the building. So I don't want to say thin out in the summer months, but in the cooler temperature seasons, we definitely have a lot more participants in our building. So, and we're still doing it with our same staff, right? 5 resource special, or 3 resource special, 5 supportive services staff, and 3 recreation programmers in our front office team. So pretty slim.
Do you do a presentation to the city council?
So that's more so the budget, well, through budget defense too, so, not directly to city council when we go with the advisory board, all of this.
I
all
thought
of these
the
things
first
are
time we
covered
did
in-
it was the first time
Right.
they really had one done for them.
Right, and so we
Yeah,
cover those
okay.
things, the population, and we're hitting at all those targets here again, of what the needs are, who we're serving, at what rate, and what's knocking on the door, and we need more, right?
Yep.
So it always works in organically. They're pretty aware through Christina's presentation. She's at council every week. Through what she's communicating to assistant city manager, where she's communicating to city manager, what gets communicated to city council. And we have Councilmember Popkin, you know, and through different spaces. The council members and even Mayor Hidalgo Ferry, just in passing, when I see her at the city manager's office, we'll ask questions about, you know, challenges, what we're seeing, what we're facing, what's life like.
Right.
And so,
Updates.
yeah, and so they're aware.
Okay.
And it's just tough decisions everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
When we're looking at budget, but we all understand that, and we just know who we're serving, you know, and what's coming.
Okay. Thank you.
So on this slide here, I just say, you know, I'm happy to inform that this year's community survey that just went on a couple of weeks ago, we were able to influence that. So there were, from Dave working with Lynn Yarney, specifically from the city, we were able to influence about 6 questions in this year's survey, so we can get better, more quantified data from our senior community and use that to help guide some of our actions going forward. We expect that to obviously continue and have more influence into the surveys going forward. So in summary, as you all know, the Senior Center has a very lengthy track, over 50 years this year, providing services to our senior community. Over the last probably 20 years, but specifically the last 10 years, we've seen just an explosive growth in our senior population. Those baby boomers, right, which was the largest segment in population groups from the 40s, 50s, 60s going forward, right? They've all aged out into our senior population now, so we're seeing that, and obviously that's having a tremendous impact on the Senior Center. That's why Ronnie continues to ask for people and space, because it's straining our capabilities to provide those services. Your advisory board, you know, is committed to trying to help any way we can, working with our senior staff, or our city staff, in providing services and programs to our senior community and advocating for our seniors. Hopefully with the slides we showed you earlier, we've had a tremendous amount of success, and we expect to have success going forward. So my last question that I was going to ask the City Council is does our focus mirror what you're seeing with your constituents in Longmont? Do you think we're on the right track? Do you have any suggestions, comments? To the extent that you can comment now, we'd like to hear back from you. Leave it with that.
One question I didn't see answered in there, you may not have a way of getting it, but is there any way you could have the data that reflects how many volunteer hours seniors are currently providing citywide? And in what categories are they working? As in professional or, technical or whatever? Because I think that would make a big impact also on employers to see there's all these seniors actively volunteering in areas they may need. They may be employable part-time.
That's a good point. In the 2024 area agency book they put out, it's $116 million of donated time by seniors in Longmont. $116 million. It's the highest dollar amount of volunteer time in the county.
Wow, figured some.
How's that calculated?
They did a survey in 3 areas: caregiving, normal regular volunteering, and childcare. They had those statistics gathered because they did conversations in the community before they submitted that.
Does
Yeah,
every
but-
agency track and report to them, or?
AAA area agency does that across the county, and all the area agencies does that in their own areas. There's a number of them here in Colorado, but specifically when they did the one from Boulder County, we far exceeded even what Boulder, the city of Boulder, and was providing in childcare, in care services, volunteer hours.
So the calculation is X people times Y hours times,
$16 and something per hour.
okay, that was one of the things I wanted to get at, was what was the dollar amount per hour on, an average kind of thing.
Probably minimum.
So it's probably upwards of that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's higher now, because that was the minimum wage
Yeah.
they used back then, so it's significant. I mean, it's a lot.
But yeah, it's significant,
So it's a good question, Tina.
yeah. And even just the number of volunteers here at the senior center, the people who are manning the front desk and doing this and helping staff and stuff like that.
Well, we have it for SCTC.
Yeah.
Michael Tay.
Yeah, you follow that.
Yeah, we do have the hours
Yeah.
on that.
It's significant.
Yeah, we'll touch on that briefly on the agenda, the board in reach. We'll talk about that in just a second. Getting to know more about that.
Mhm.
But any issues, questions, things you'd like to see covered?
Yeah.
The decision was to start with something we've done concrete with the food tables and leading in what our expectations are going forward. So anything you want to add to that, please feel free to do that.
Can I get the, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I says, can I get the Friends new logo to you so you can add it to the,
We can,
okay.
I don't know if you can.
or we can't.
For a city report, as a city report. We can highlight them as a sponsor,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
programs.
that's
in
what
that
I was
way.
thinking,
Yeah.
it needs to
That
be.
way, so if there's a way to, going back to
Yeah,
programs and
mentioned.
services, if there's
Yeah.
if there's a space there, then you can put the Friends logo there, that's, the impact they have supporting the services.
Right.
So
Supporting
we're getting it in that way,
Yeah.
piggybacking off of it.
yeah. I just think it needs to be
Here.
there, yeah.
Non-employment, here. Here?
No.
Outreach,
We were mentioned specifically.
Yeah, we could put,
Yeah.
that would be a good place,
Yeah,
because Friends is
yeah.
doing outreach.
Yeah.
Actually, your outreach in some areas is
Real
different, a little different, but we're piggybacking on it, right?
Right, I mean, we're in this
We're
together.
working together.
Yeah, we're in this together, so,
So that would be a good one,
Yeah.
if we're talking about filling in the gaps with current budget, that's a good highlight there of the impact that those resources have on the supportive services and the recreation services.
mhm.
But with this city report, I think it has to be framed that way.
And the more recognition that the Friends have, because we're able to raise money, is all good for everybody. I mean, it's all good. it goes to programming, you know, eventually we'll get around to a capital campaign and so on and so forth. And a lot of people just don't know about you guys or us, either way. So, and
Well, they know about you in the Go magazine, because you're in there,
we're in the go.
you're in prominently.
Woo.
You know, let me suggest another thing that I've been thinking, because of the people that we have coming from Boulder or Lafayette, that they enjoy it and they don't have it. So I think one of our outreach is to go visit Boulder, go visit out there, take our goal book, this is the programs that we have, you know, so they can get started on some of that, what we're doing, so we don't have the influx of other people that we don't wanna, you know, say, we don't want you here, because, you know, you're not from Longmont. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they feel we can, because we're not from Longmont, but they are wanting to come here, because they enjoy what we have here and what we do. So I think one outreach that we, as a board or whoever, I'm going to do that, talk to them over there, hey, this is what we're doing, your folks are coming here, and you want them to come, then scoop up some dinero over here, so we can get them, and help us to generate money, because we're taking their people where they should have those services. They should have the senior providing what we provide, don't you think? I think, I don't know.
That's
Yes.
right. It varies by different city priorities.
And they get their
towns.
dinero, they get their money.
Right. So that's just how they're structured differently. We prioritize it differently here in Longmont. And that's why we have the services.
We're better
that we
here.
have. We have a one-stop shop
That's true.
versus spread out throughout the city, which how it looks in Boulder, right? You know, I am in process of collecting information from surrounding Boulder County, we'll say centers, because they're not all senior centers.
Right.
A good example would be Louisville and Erie, which is just a space designated inside their rec center for senior programs, versus us being a standalone facility. Boulder has two different locations, smaller locations, but trying to collect that information and data just to see what they produce, and not for comparison, just to see with the resources they have available, staffing, how do they utilize their resources to provide those services to the community. And I think that's good for all of us to senior managers to look at, to see how we're utilizing our resources, and maybe we can get, generate ideas from each other when resources are very limited and very limited right now. So we're just all in problem solving mode, and that's all we're doing is trying to make the best of what we have. And I just want to pick their brain. I want to know what they're doing.
Any ads or things you'd like to see different? Lon, you had a question about the presentation?
So is this what you're gonna be showing this city council?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna advise you on something. It's gonna go fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna go really fast. And as much as you want to explain things further and kind of branch out on every topic, I would stick to what you have. Because you can easily, like Zach said, he could talk about stuff we all can. We get excited about it, we go off, we want to explain it a little more.
Yeah.
In order to get it all in, you have to really stick to what you've got on paper in front of you. And you can say, I'd love to go into this more, but I'll be happy to speak afterwards, anything like that. But really try to stick to what it is. That's a lot of information, and it's very comprehensive, and it's very informative. It's also very tight.
Yeah, typically
So-
what you want to do is, on a slide is just basically, highlight, right? Right, they can read the slide as well as anyone.
Right, they can be reading it while you're speaking.
But there's usually one or two highlights on the slide that you'll want to kind of pop, and then just stay on that, and then let them.
And what you could do is you could tell them that if they want, if any of the council members want you to send them the presentation, you can
Well, they'll
email
have
it to them.
They'll have it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they've
Okay,
got-
good.
they
This will
already
be
have-
part of their packet.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
It's well presented, very understood, and if they don't know, then they'll open their eyes, so they can know and
Yeah.
understand. But by them participating here with the food distribution, they know.
Yeah.
And that's
There's no question about it.
that's the point. Starting with the food table, starting with the momentum is building. We need you to focus. You've come here to the food table. We need you to focus now on job secure, all the things we want them to hear about.
Right, it's like opening up the door.
Yep, we really want them to pay attention to what's going on here and the fact that as 30% of the voting population pay attention.
Yeah.
So more and more they get all this information from us.
Well, and that's an interesting thing to bring up because older Americans do vote more
Right.
Yes.
More
as a
voters.
that 30% of the population votes more too
They're-
than the
That's-
rest of the population.
That's
Per
our
capita.
Per
that's
capita.
our hope. That's our hope. They actually recognize that.
Yeah, they
That
need
this
to.
it's not just 30% of the population. It's 30% of the what's higher of the voting population. Kids under 18 don't vote.
So
So
that's data too that
Yeah. That's
needs to be
so
collected.
if you have any suggestions, great. That line, it's a great one. Part of the reason we wanted to do it today was to get the wind out of our sails.
Right, exactly. And that's a great thing to do first.
Oh, yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
get that opportunity to kind of think about what you're saying and hear what you're saying, and then you say, okay, well, I could cut it back here, I don't need that much information here, and it's like practicing. I mean, that's what you did a dress rehearsal.
Yep.
I think you hit on the way everything is framed is perfect. You both did a great job with the recommendations and feedback from the board to capture everything. You have the right amount of information and great feedback and suggestion is to not overload in one space. You provided the right pieces of information to make the point for each of those slides. Yeah, don't worry about digging into that unless there's a chance because you're on the agenda, there should be time for them to ask questions after if they have it. But you're knowledgeable, you have this information, and look how quickly you just pull that out of your back pocket for how many hours for volunteers that come out of Longmont, right? And you know over 300 visits in the past 3 years, and just these things. You are the knowledge. You are the keepers of knowledge with that information in that conversation, and I'll be there if you need me as well. And if we don't know, it's okay. Well, we'll get back to you on that one. Right? We'll get back to you. And we don't have to, if we don't know it right there, we don't have to panic to try to get that information right away.
You know,
We just know it's a lot, right? That's the thing. So we know it's a lot of people, but I'll get you that exact number if you need it.
So I'm gonna meet Popkin tonight on another topic, but would it help if I gave him because I don't think anybody in this council's seen this. I mean, if I just share with one person, that doesn't break the sunshine law, right? If I just share this with one
I would
person.
hang on to it and just present. I don't know if I'd put it in his hands right away.
Okay,
I
That
wouldn't,
one
especially
has
with it being
to be
next
on.
Tuesday.
yeah,
I don't know what that may or may not do.
okay.
When the council, when they're here in the food district, they enjoy it. They speak to people, Spanish or English or broken, whatever, and they enjoy it. I tell them little stories about them and I feed them, oh, this one this, and this one that, and they really enjoy it. One of the councilmen brought his little kid and was helping, enjoyed it, and they really enjoy it, and it becomes personal to them that they're, connected with the community.
Right.
That makes it.
Ronnie, when you sent this out to us, whenever that was, 2 days ago, did Matthew Popkin get copied on that?
On that one, I usually put him in it. I can't remember if he was or not.
Because then that means he has the presentation.
He may or may not. Let me see. Actually, he may not.
Okay.
Does not know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so any input, let John or I know. If you want any changes, additions. If anybody like to be there on the 11th, it'd be nice to be able to point to the audience and say, here are our members. Because I'll ask you to put up your hand to show everybody our concerns. And that's what this is, the momentum we're trying to pick up. Pay attention. Okay.
And that's
I just
7
looked
p.m.,
up-
right?
How, what percentage of older Americans 65 and above vote? 78%. So 78% of that 30% is voting, which is much higher than the younger population that votes. So they need to pay attention to that 30%.
And all that data just came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So we will,
With this last midterm, and they also looked at the, I'm just looking online.
we'll make that point as best we can. All right, moving
I
along.
just want to say, good job on this.
Yeah.
Very good job.
Very
That is
good.
so complete and so thorough. And you've done a really good job putting the right information together, not the right, but I mean, the important information together. I want to commend you both and everybody else who worked on it, if anybody else did. You did a really good job. This is something we can save and use for a lot of different things,
We know
not
what
just
we're
the
doing.
city council.
It's presented
Definitely.
very
Yeah.
well.
Multi-purpose.
This
Yeah.
is something we can refer to other people and, if people have questions, this is a full compact packet. So
Yeah, we're hoping-
congratulations, you did
Thank
a
you.
very good job.
Thank you. We're hoping that it might be a bridge to be something you do at the outreach, that we can show that
Right.
to people.
Right.
And in conjunction with the Friends are doing with their new logos and their new brochures, whatever. What's fun to see is seniors getting more involved, and it's fun to see the city council show up. They've been at every single one of these.
Yeah.
The mayor's been at least 4 or 5, so they are paying attention. We just need to keep the momentum going. So,
Right.
thank you. And
You've been to a couple.
to please put Martha's picture in there. Moving along, the Friends have paid for a booth for us in the Unity of the Community, August 28th from 4 to 8. We're looking for volunteers that can help man the booth, person the booth, be there. So the Friends have already signed up to do some help there too, and thank them for paying. Oh, I know, the excuse of your son's wedding. Come on, go ahead.
That's more important.
Can you believe that? Oh my God.
You can get there late.
Lonnie will write an excuse to say, "Look, Lonnie said I didn't have to be there till
Right.
11 o'clock."
For the reception.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
My
be glad for
father
the
used to
food
always say
and
that he
drink.
had 5 girls.
So
He
who
said, I
all-
don't need to be
who
at
all
the wedding, I
helped?
can meet
Marta?
your mother at the reception.
I saw Lonnie put up her hand.
What was the time?
4 to 8. So
It was 4 to 8?
the information from the chamber is coming out slowly. The week of the 17th is when they do where we're going to be and what have you. But I just need to know people who be willing to be there. Probably 3:30 to
I was gonna say.
8:30 to set up and tear down.
Yeah, so I can't stay till late, but I can cover the first couple hours.
Okay.
I can be there from
John.
3:30 to 6.
It'd probably help to be there for the setup.
Yes. Thank you.
You can take off.
Anybody else? I think we have 4 or 5 people and friends also who are going to be there. So we'll make sure we have lots of tables and chairs. And I'm going to see if Zach's going to have a booth. Maybe he can share the water stuff with us. We'll see. I'll ask him. We have a tent.
And then we'll connect to
Okay.
do the tent.
That's because you have the tent. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you all. We voted on having the.
Did
Was
you
it-
put her down?
Yeah. Oh, I did.
You found Pepper.
All right. Moving along, let's see. We all voted on having the Latino Community Committee set up. I'm going to ask Marta to start to speak to that and write what's going on in that community and submit that as part of our standing committee's reports for next time.
I was out of town on the 16th, got back on the 1st, so I haven't been with you, but been telling people, about it. I've recruited 3 people that are interested in applying for the board.
Great.
Yes.
Good.
And they're,
We need-
they're excited, whatever, but it's not publicized yet until September, I think.
When is the next interviews for advisory board?
Ooh, I'd have to look. Usually in the fall, right?
I thought it was
Yeah.
September or October.
That's what,
Like October. Actually, is it in November?
I thought it was November.
November's the
I think we start advertising in October.
November interviews are November.
Yeah.
I
Let's
mean, the
check.
applications will not be out until September, that's what
Yeah.
the city clerk, Don Quintana told me.
I'll check.
I'll look into that.
I'll check for sure. Okay.
Here.
I told him.
Bylaws. Christina was going to check with the city attorney to see where that was.
Yeah, So I have some, we'll be able to go through everything and I can do a report on that, at next board meeting.
Next one,
We
okay,
just got a response, so I'll have to go through everything.
okay,
Is that okay?
yep.
Okay.
And advisory board in reach, it's just some clever way to say, it came up here. Do you know how many volunteers here at the senior center at various activities? 300. There's 300 people volunteering, and so I thought about asking various groups that do things here to come and speak just for a few minutes to let the board members know what else is out there. I mean, there's peer support, they have a whole mental health support group, whatever. So I'd like to put aside, if we can, if you're okay with that, every other board meeting, whenever we can, to hear what other volunteers are here, what other groups are here. I went to a volunteer appreciation, others have been there. There were 150 people there. That's half the number of volunteers here. What do they do? So I'd like us all to hear about it so we can talk to other people about what groups are doing here. That's the clever advisory board in reach. What's here that we don't know about or we'd like to hear more about. So that's just to mention that to you.
And that's important for the board to know
Yes.
what other groups are doing,
Right.
enjoying, and
Right.
what are the seniors about. So it's important that the seniors, the board knows, oh, this is Loteria, maybe I should go and stop by, play Loteria.
I mean, we're talking about momentum. The outreach, Lonnie, we're beginning to do there to be able to talk about what other groups are here. What, not just what the senior center provides program-wise, but of volunteer opportunities, of which clearly there's a lot.
Because they
So-
have, every month there's a birthday for somebody, there's 2, 3, or 4, and they come together and bring something and celebrate those individuals.
Yeah.
Whether it's your birthday, anniversary, whatever. By the way, tomorrow is my 60th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Whoa, 60. Oh, my God.
60.
Are they doing anything? What?
I'll let you know when I do something.
Along those lines too, a lot of people have asked me, how do you become a volunteer at Senior Center? And I don't really know the answer to that. I just kind of look through the go and see, but they have questions that I can't answer. That's more than they ask me like, what's available that you know about, or I want to know more before I call that number.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
So
would be helpful to know.
Their
asked-
commitments.
we asked
People
both
are
of our boards
interested in
just
their
to have the
commitments.
surface level information to direct them to staff. We don't want our boards, any boards, to be the experts with providing the informations, how it processes, what is or is not available. It's just
Oh no, I
a
mean just a
handout.
friendly conversation
Yeah.
about,
Just a variety of everything. We have trips, we have help for setup, takedown for our events, for our programs, for information, our information booth, or table, I should say. So there's just a variety of everything. It's just what are you interested in, and see where that fits with it.
is there a list anywhere of things that you're looking for, or training programs that they have to go through for anything, or?
It's what do they want to do. We have one who just says, I want to help sort out the doors when they come for delivery. And so we will just walk them through that. It's not a training process for anybody. It's just that, let's show you how we do this, and they do that. So
Is
there's no, we need A, B, or C. It's I would like to volunteer. Where do you need me? And that's what the conversation is. Okay, well, what is your interest? What are your skill sets? What would you like to do? And we see where that fits.
Do they just show up at the front desk and
You
ask?
show up at the front desk, and the front desk will point them to, depending on what it is, who that point of contact. We have with our staff, we utilize different volunteers differently. If it's for peer support, then they would go to Kaylee. Right?
Right.
If it's for, I would like to be a trip leader, then they go to Terry. So it's just front desk helps navigate that.
So show up at the front desk and ask.
And what I've had questions about is simply, what am I committing to?
Mm-hmm.
What's the commitment, so.
Right. What do you want to commit to? So
Right,
again,
exactly.
It's
But as long as they don't have to worry about talking to someone, needing to know commitment first before they talk to
Right,
anybody.
well, it depends.
Then that's
but
fine.
You got John Pillman over here who loves to talk to everybody. That's why he's with the CTC, helping everybody who comes through the door.
Right.
So
Come and
just,
find out.
what are the needs, what are the skill sets, what do you wanna do?
Just come and find out.
Okay.
Join a group, join
Yep.
a
Sounds
class,
good.
or join whatever.
Okay.
So there's nothing online?
No.
They, okay.
No.
I'm
This-
trying to get everybody online.
Yeah.
But we then, we do have to work with, depending on what the volunteer support is, work with our human resources team, because volunteers have to be vetted through human resources to do that work, so we connect them with that process.
And on that note, the manager's report, you're up.
And so we have, I'll start with just a message from Matthew Coffin, Councilmember Coffin, who couldn't be here today. He had a schedule conflict. And so he just wanted to share with everybody, to let everybody know that the RTD officially approved the new AL Pro Express bus from Denver International Airport to Longmont. That service will start September 27th.
Oh, that's
And
great.
Longmont will have
That's
two
awesome.
stops, 8th and Kaufman and Longmont Park and Ride, 815 Main Street. So the route map schedule is attached, and I can send that out to the board after this meeting.
5th and May.
And it is $10 for an adult, $1.35 for seniors 65 and greater,
Wow.
with ID and proof of age, and free for children 19 years and younger.
You'll send that out to us?
Yeah, I'll send that out to everybody.
That's
Will
awesome.
you repeat it?
And I'll send it out to you. So it is $10 for adults, $1.35 for seniors 65 and older with proof of ID,
65 plus, not 55 plus.
65.
That's not nice.
That's not fair.
And free for children 19 years and younger.
Go for that.
He also wanted to share, last night City Council discussed the preparations for Sundance Film Festival, from transportation and construction to local business support and public safety. City Council will be discussing short-term rental policies, policy updates next Tuesday, so the meeting will all be at anyway. So you'll get to hear it all firsthand. In late July, the city moved forward with acquiring the former YMCA to create a new recreation center. This investment specifically comes from the Recreational Impact Fee Fund, which is revenue collected from new development fees in Longmont for investments specifically for new recreational facilities. Unfortunately, building a new rec center is fundamentally different, a different equation than that wasn't even close to being in the budget. Closer to 70 to 80 million rather than 8.4 million for this acquisition. And estimated development costs. So no new or increased taxes are needed, which is, that's good to know, right? After the agreement is finalized, the city expects construction to take 12 to 18 months to complete it before it opens. So, well, I guess we'll find out more when the city expects, well, I guess when the agreement is finalized, right?
It's not finalized?
What's that?
It's not finalized?
No, this is after the agreement is finalized. The city expects construction to take 12 to 18 months, so I wonder how long that process takes, and maybe we'll hear more about that next Tuesday. So he just wanted to share that with everybody
Did he say the 8.4 million is just the purchase?
for the acquisition.
Not the rehab?
Right, well, I don't know if that includes that. I guess you're right, 8.4 for the acquisition, I'm sure, and estimated developmental costs, sorry,
Okay.
includes that piece. So 8.4 for acquisition and estimated developmental costs versus the 70, 80 million for a new center.
For a new one.
So, well, how do we get a developmental? How do we? So, I'll send this out to you as soon as I'm done with this report, so you'll have that in your inbox as well. For my report, I just want to go over a few things. So we have our new Go, which arrived during closure. It's out here in the lobby. And so once we leave here, I'll make sure every board member gets one. And it's our Fall Go for September through December. The cover is a really neat cover. It has just a collection of all the different Go covers over the past 50 years on one cover, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take a look at that. 2026 maintenance closure, just want to share what was done in our facility. We got new windows in room A, new windows in room B. The trim, not in this room, of course, not in this room. They started painting the trim and the windowsills around the facility to match the paints in the billiard room and the lobby. So it's kind of like a grayish color that matches this carpet versus the maroon, which is on the windowsills of the door frames. So half of our building has gray door frames and windowsills, and the other half will take place next closure next year. We also had just our normal annual cleanings, so carpet cleanings, cleaning the tables, the windows, the chairs, as well as our gym floor being replaced. Well, they strip it every year and redo it. So we got a lot accomplished this closure, and this building feels great. I know a lot of you, since I've started, a lot of you on the board, I'm sure you've seen a lot of transition, Dave, since you've joined the board 4 years ago as well, and it just feels good. And even when we had we had Zach in here, he's like, oh wow, you guys have smartboard. He's like, that's a huge upgrade. He even mentioned, I don't know if you heard him before the meeting. He's like, before these, he said, I remember coming in here and the projector died out on me, so I just had to wing it. And so it's good to know where we're at, and that's why we don't have major needs right now outside of staff and space.
You know, I will say too that
which is a good problem to have.
This facility is really well maintained. And if you want to see a stark contrast, go to the Civic Center over at 350 Kimbark and walk through their atrium area. It needs a lot of help.
So we got a lot done during closure. We were in our presentation mentioned the impact the advisory board had on developing those questions. Just want to share the information I received on the survey, that there's no results yet, that at that point they were still receiving responses, but at that point it was communicated that this year's response doubled the 2024 responses, which is good to know that we're getting assessing a great pool of our community. The goal is to have an October presentation to council on those data results. So October we should hear more about that information. We also heard more about the needs for senior employment. Just want to share where we're at with the job fair information. The job fair information coming here out of the senior center. So it is going to be in the City Talk article, August 10th. It's just a little blurb about what this opportunity offers, right? 55 and greater job fair here at the senior center, September 15th from 11 to 2, and an opportunity to meet with employers, an opportunity to have your resume reviewed and interview strategies as well.
Ronnie, the October presentation to the council, is that just on the results of the survey or specific to the senior center report?
Results of the survey.
Good.
Yeah. And then last impacts, so also just want to share back to, just what we've been talking about for the past 6 months, 7 months, just the challenges that we're seeing from our seniors and just the cost of living and just the impact it's having. So what we've seen from our resource specialists is just, it's not really a trend, but we noticed in June we saw a little bit more of that. We're just hearing more just the impacts, how rent is impacting the cost of living. Unaffordable housing for many seniors, struggling to keep up with utilities and rent. So we have a lot more requests coming through for last resort supports to pay for some of those utility bills. And there has been a couple individuals walking through the door sharing that they want to return to work, but they are having either trouble getting interviews or just the true state of their physical abilities and the impact that has on their ability to go back to work as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can comment real quick on that from what I'm seeing. Just again, the SCTC lab, we see get a lot of those because they're wanting to sharpen up on their skills. But it's interesting, like one person in particular wanted to get back into his old career, but he admitted that it was extremely difficult. Age discrimination's out there, and he's, you know, he's running against, you know, kids, or not kids, but young adults that are in their 20s that have tried to do the kind of job that he was doing when he retired at, say, 65, right? Now he wants to go back into it. And so I was like, well, have you considered maybe wanting to do something different, you know, that's outside of your historical, you know, he was a process automation engineer and that kind of thing, so you have to kind of manage expectations, right?
Right.
What you're capable of.
And so that, right, that's the conversations, is managing expectations with ability, with
Yeah.
Skill sets, with opportunities that do or do not exist right now, right? So it's just, it's not an ongoing trend, it's just something that was noticed as we're going through the data for June.
Ronnie, as you see something like that employment's becoming an issue, does that figure into your request to the council for additional staff, that you're able to focus on an area you see coming? More seniors need work. How do we
Right. It's hard
job
to narrow
train?
down to, I mean, if we're looking at the needs, right, the work that this board has done is really nailed down on huge ones right now, which is housing, transportation, and it's hard for us to be experts in one space,
Right.
and help problem solve just that one thing when there's a lot of resources that provide those supports. What I mean is it's a better use of our staff and skill sets and can meet more needs when we are helping connect the supports that do exist for all these different needs. So being able, what I'm trying to say is we're able to support more seniors in our community when we are knowledgeable with all these different resources versus just one, if that makes sense. So can it impact it? And that's just another layer of, we need more staff because of.
Right.
We need more staff because we're seeing more needs in all these different areas, and we need to help connect those dots for the resources that do exist that can help support meeting basic needs for seniors in our communities. And that's really what it is basic needs.
John, look at it this way, I mean, if you could see an incremental growth in employment need,
Right.
and then coupled with some sort of, you know, financial assistance need, and this need and that need, I would imagine that adds up to an FTE.
A resource. A resource.
Well, I mean, it's an opportunity, workforce, right? It's just an opportunity for us to partner closer with them. Like, when we're over here talking about space, you know, how do we lock up one room for just employment specifically when, you know, we have a partnership with Boulder County Workforce? It's just an opportunity for us to strengthen that relationship and to provide this.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit of that's in our report, to try to work, Dave and I try to work more closely with them, and then report back to you to say, hey, could be a way we can get more things channeled more efficiently over the workforce.
Right.
Because they've got the resources to handle it.
Right, and versus us being an expert in that and meeting that one specific need, is there an opportunity for us to program them in our goals and give them space to do presentations, give them space to that same as the food table, right? We didn't need to create the solution, we need to partner with that support to provide the solution, and then that's just that would be another opportunity to provide that extension.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
Always better to join with somebody who's already doing it,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, the expert.
Okay. Ronnie?
That's it.
The area agency on aging did not meet in July, so there's no report. They take off that month. John, Friends report?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend much time on it since it's in a nice little recap here for everyone. I thought the Jay Cox presentation from High Plains Bank was quite enlightening. I mean, the bottom line is we're we're a benefactor from the relatively strong investment market right now. Return on investment's been very good, right? Donations have not been, we knew this going in, right? Donations have not been really where we want to see them currently, but there are a number of programs in the works with friends to do more outreach and to boost your donation, whether it's one time or recurring. So I was very pleased to see that. Is there anything else on
That's been a real strong focus for the Friends under Karen Roney, is developing the ability to market donations here, and it's just starting to build some momentum with the new computer programs they have.
Yeah.
Pretty extraordinary where they're going.
Yeah. Just wanted to point out kudos to y'all for providing the $300 for us to be able to have our booth at Unity in the community. So we're looking forward to that.
Unanimous support for that, by the way.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, guys.
Golden Jubilee, let's see. Yeah. Actually, looking for inspirational speakers. I think one of those potentially was somebody I work with, Bobsky Masan. Maybe to have him. Do you have any update on that?
No, well, Karen's really working on that, contacting
Okay.
people. And I had brought up the possibility of contacting Carmen Ramirez. I don't know. She is such an inspirational person.
Yeah.
But we're wanting to do the day before the Golden Jubilee celebration, a gathering for our donors, a donor appreciation event, to talk about the Golden Jubilee and also thank them for giving. And that's where we want to have an inspirational speaker. So if you know anyone who is inspirational and a speaker and wants to speak on why we should give and why giving's good to the Friends for the Senior Center, that would be greatly appreciated, because we're looking at approaching people.
That's all I got.
I do want to spend a second on what the board did do, the Friends board did do on changing one of their donation categories to reflect the food cart. That's a big deal. And now for years it's been general, STC, SCTC, whatever. But as of the next printing of donations, they're going to include the food cart supporting that.
Yeah, so the genesis of it was people that, for whatever reason, couldn't donate food, but said, hey, I'll chip in $20 or whatever.
Right.
They've now got a means to take that, track it.
So you can now donate money.
And you can take it now.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
can
I
take-
didn't know.
yes,
Yes, we
We
can
can now
now, we
take it.
voted and we can now
Yeah.
take it, yes.
And,
And specifically for,
for the food cart,
Yes.
there's there are 4 designations. One's a general SCTC is another one.
yeah,
The last resort is a third one, and the fourth one is the food cart. So you take your mark. And we're having a new brochure and new envelopes and some other minor collateral stuff is just about ready to go to the printer. So we're getting there.
It was nice to see is that started with the food table. Now the
Yeah.
Friends have picked it up as a program. Now we're picking up donations for it. So again, that's the momentum that this
Yeah.
board is creating.
Right.
So congratulations to that.
yeah.
And if you'll notice, when you leave today, I loaded the food carts this morning, loaded them. And somebody had brought a very kind, generous donation of food. I incorporated that. And if you take a look at them now, it's almost all gone.
Yeah. The need is there.
And people were asking yesterday morning, at 8:30, people were already at the front desk asking where the food carts were, because Denise and I had taken them down for the maintenance and everything. We didn't want them to be in the way, and we put them back in yesterday morning at 9:30. But at 8:30, people were already asking.
They probably thought that they got removed and
Yeah.
weren't coming back or
Right.
That they were a little
Yeah.
Yeah,
concerned.
they were asking if it was coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
So good work. Okay. Anything else? Eric, sustainability,
Duty tomorrow.
5:15 at the food hall. Okay, good.
That's great information that Zach had. Really
Yeah.
good.
Employment, John, Dave?
Dave, you wanna take this then?
No, go ahead.
Or you wanna?
No, that's fine, you do it.
Okay. We talked a little bit already about the job fair. What we're trying to do, so let me be clear, right? The job fair is being ran by Workforce. The seniors, we're providing the space, but they're providing really all the other coordination. Correct, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to be clear on that. I've had some communication with Workforce, Dave as well. We're a little premature. Like, ideally, what I want is I want to know who they're inviting, who's accepted. If there's a gap in that, then Dave and I are like, maybe we reach out to that organization directly to try to coax them into coming, right? So, and Lily doesn't seem to have a problem with that, but she hasn't provided the list of who's been invited yet, so we should get that pretty soon, hopefully. The second thing I want to comment, and so in this document here, there were a couple of questions that I asked Lily. I posted her response, and there's more responses that we need to get from Lily. But the other one I think is really interesting is, so let's say you go to the job fair and you're interested in a particular employer and you want to reach out to them. So as some of us know, right, if you put a call into HR, they're probably not, hey, I'm looking for a job. That's not going to get answered, right? So some of the employers, we learned this from the last job fair, they have a number or an email address of a particular person at the company that you can reach out to, but others don't, right? So Lily has implied that for those employers, the inquiries would come directly into Workforce. So Workforce would basically act as the help desk or the front line for those seeking employment, and then Workforce, what she basically said is, if we can get those people to come into Workforce, then what we can do is kind of run them through our process, which is what kind of employment you're looking for. Because, probably not intuitive, but if you just look for one job with one employer, the probability you're gonna get hired is extremely small. But if you go to Workforce and you say, I'm interested in a job, this is what I'm qualified to do, or maybe they can identify gaps in your skill set that Workforce can help fill, right? And then they can potentially say, we know a dozen employers potentially that might be looking for somebody with these skills, right? So those are the kind of conversations we still need to have with Lily to kind of figure that one out, so that we can better inform our seniors as to what they can do if they're interested in employment, if they go to the job fair and they're interested in taking the next step. Does that make sense? Okay. John Higginson, so there's a whole category, there's an employer, there was a job, there's a skill set within Workforce, a job category, I guess. And what do they call them? They call them like resource coordinators, similar to our resource specialists. I had it written down here somewhere. Dave and I want to set up a meeting with Lily and basically ultimately with one of these coordinators to understand what they do. Because right now, she keeps throwing out the term, and those are the people that they'll contact, but we don't know what they do, right? So we want to understand better what they do. And of course, I was just thinking, when I was looking at you, I'm going, and I don't know what bilingual skills they have. We know Workforce has bilingual skills, right? That was actually brought up when Lily was here last time. Remember, you had brought that up. Let's see.
Touch on the chamber events.
Oh, yeah, towards the bottom here. So there are a variety of chamber events. Actually, I found out about this through Friends, because Friends is kind of taking the lead on that. We attended a chamber event, breakfast chamber event with Sam's Club a few weeks ago. I thought it was interesting, well attended, extremely well attended. Dave, Johnny Gibbs was there. We did I think we did a good job of trying to inform those folks both at the chamber level and at Sam's level, who we are, what we do, how seniors, try to get, hey, think of seniors. There are a few others that are coming up. One that I'm gonna attend is Costco. They're a big employer in Longmont, right? So there could be an opportunity for seniors at Costco.
And when's that?
The Costco one, 9/11, September 11. That one's a morning event as well. If you want the complete list, I don't have it handy, but I do have a scanned copy of it. Do you guys have electronic at your chamber list?
I have it.
You have the electronic copy of it?
I'll send it to everybody.
Okay.
What's interesting, we're just talking to various people and trying to pinpoint the ones that look like seniors. Talked to 4 people who are seniors, didn't know about the senior center. So it's a good opportunity. I invited them here, we'll give them a tour or whatever. Gives a good opportunity just to meet people who look like seniors and talk about where we're going here. Because they all represent employers, or they are employers, so they have some group of people we'd like to make our services at least available, or at least indicate to them. Took one person through here from the Longmont Men's Choir Corps. I forget the name of the group he represented.
Oh, yeah. He was recruited too.
He was.
Can you sing?
Yeah. If you go there, expect to be promoted about what they do. So, but it's fun. But it's well attended, as John said, and the breakfast was nice. And good to go to.
Yeah.
Wear your name tag.
Yeah. Exactly. That's all I have.
Next breakfast, make sure you tell us.
What's that? Make sure what?
Next breakfast, make sure you tell us.
Or bring breakfast back. Okay. Dave, board advocacy?
No report.
No report?
Nope.
Okay. And food table, Eric.
Last month was very successful. We had about 78 people and over 205 people represented. It starts again this Saturday, so volunteers.
This Saturday.
3, 4, 5.
I'm leading a trip to the Peach Festival that day.
Yeah.
That's what's happening that day.
Yes. It's going to affect the.
So what do we do with those people? They want
What's that, the
they want-
9th?
I said, well, you choose.
Yeah.
Your food,
8.
peaches.
You gotta eat peaches.
All right, thank you.
That's a real shift. The number of people coming is staying pretty consistent, but the number of people being fed has started to go up. So thank you all for participating.
Well, and when did the latest round of SNAP reductions happen? That was
The end
pretty
of
Yeah.
July.
Just happened.
Just
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah,
There's a good chance we're gonna see a bump
more people.
in September. and-
Yeah, because keep in
and
mind, I mean,
August.
they're 55 plus, but like, there are a lot of them, like there's one lady that seems to come all the time and she's taking care of her grandkids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So she's getting.
We get a lot of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Open discussions. One thing I want to see: who are there people that you all would like to see come present over the next few months? Someone from the chamber, any groups? Let us know so we can get speakers that you're interested in hearing. I thought Zach's presentation was great today.
It was very good.
When
City
is Harold coming?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, no.
He
May.
doesn't need to come before
May.
budget though.
June.
Hey, John,
Yep.
when did Longmont Housing Authority last present? Do you remember?
That
this
was
is-
2 years ago.
it's been a while.
probably. We can get Quincy and I'll think of her name, but yeah, we can get them in here.
Yeah, peer support just went out to Quincy, and we're on schedule the peer support group to go and speak to them over the next 3 months. So love to have them come back. It's a great idea.
One of the former city council members is now in a position at Longmont Housing. Do you know who I'm speaking of, Ronnie?
Chiquita.
Chiquita is in that position at Longmont Housing, so if we could get Chiquita and
Great idea.
Quincy Williams in,
Okay, I'll check.
it'd be good for that.
Any other groups you'd like to hear from?
You know, LMAC, I don't know if they've ever come, Longmont Multicultural Action Committee, which is part of the city, all of the organizations in Longmont, so they can share what they do, what their purpose is, and who's all involved with them, as well as St. Brain Community Council. You know, they have, you know, all organizational profit and non-profit that they meet at the Presbyterian Church. They have monthly meetings. St. Brain Community Council.
At Westview?
Do you have any contact?
Yeah.
Do you have any contact people we
Yeah.
can?
Yeah.
Can you let me know?
Luis Chavez, yeah, I'll give you the number.
Okay.
He's the one that, you know, present the program. That's where I said we should present. and do.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a question. Under open discussion, that's where we are.
Yes.
Okay. Going over the new Go, beautiful, looks great. Didn't notice anything about the advisory board. Did I just miss it?
It's there.
We need a picture
I
of
have it.
the advisory.
I don't have it in front of me. What do you mean about the advisory board?
Oh, yeah.
Just general information like there was in the last one.
Yeah, I don't think we took that out.
It's there between.
And I probably missed it, but just
Yeah,
making sure.
yeah, we definitely did not remove. Those are always like long-standing pieces in the Go. So,
Where would it be?
Yeah, I'll go through it.
Okay.
They have the announcement for the anniversary that's gonna happen here on November 17th. There's some parts that are set in there. Wanna walk them? Saw it yesterday.
I think there was something maybe on the first page or something already.
Okay. Take a look. Lonnie,
that is
anything on,
in
anything on
our-
outreach?
Page
Yeah.
10, page 10.
It's,
City Council appointed board members the first Wednesday of every month, 10 a.m. to noon. We need to fix that. Well, possibly we might need it. Well, we want to cover
there
that.
it is, there it is. I was looking for it.
Look at your all name, David Brenna, Eric Brack,
Just forget.
Maria Guadalupe Garcia, Lonnie Dooley, John Higgins, John Pillman, Martha Moreno. So you're famous. Famous. Make sure you have
All the
copies.
books they came out.
Yes. Please contact the City Services Manager Ronnie Manus, who will forward you to John Higgins.
Okay, just making sure.
Thank you so much. All right.
Page 10.
Lonnie?
Yeah, I actually am just gonna run through this real quick. We did John did a presentation at Village on Main. It was very well received. And it was very informative about what people were asking about. So we're gonna continue to kind of pay attention to what people have questions about and be ready to answer that and be ready to address those. The next one's going to be at Aspen Meadows, and I'm booked for September, I think it's 11. One was very excited to have us come in and talk. So what I could use, Ronnie, at one point you mentioned having quarter-page flyers made up with the barcode on it. So if there's any way I can get that for the Aspen Meadows meeting,
Yeah.
that would be
So-
helpful. Then we won't have to bring Go books.
Perfect. I have one that we already created. Do we know when that exists? I can send that over.
Excellent.
Lonnie,
All right.
Where's Aspen? Is that off of?
Aspen Meadows is off of Main east onto 21st Street.
Main and
So if you go up to Main and 21st and you go east, it's about 2 blocks in. There's Aspen Meadows Senior Community and Aspen Meadows Apartments. So apartments are for families and all that, and Aspen Meadows Senior is it. I spoke to Quincy Williams, who is the regional director of LHA, and I asked him what he thought of us presenting at all of the different properties, and he didn't think it was necessary for the ones that are mixed residents. He thought that really only the ones for the seniors would have a want to have the information given to them and stuff. However, that we could provide, and I think we already do, provide the Go books to all of the residences, so that the ones that have families and stuff like that, the managers will know to give those Go books out to the people that are seniors. He just didn't feel that there would be enough participation. However, should he find out, and should I find out from talking to these individual managers, that it would be a good idea for us to come and do it, we'd be happy to do it. So that cuts out about 4 of the properties, the 8 properties. So we're gonna continue doing this. One thing I wanna stress, because we all know this, Zach brought it up real well when he said everything's a juggling act. You know, we don't wanna go out there and get a lot of responses from people and have them come and find out that the wait lists are really long. I don't wanna overpromise and underprovide. So this is gonna be a slow process. This is gonna be one we expect to do for a while, you know, a long time, ongoing, actually. And anywhere we can do it outside of just seniors is also gonna be beneficial. Like, we're gonna go, I'm setting up an appointment with the Twin Peaks Rotary. It's not just gonna be properties that I'm doing. I'm gonna be doing community groups because they're great fundraisers. They're great funds givers. You know, I wanna stress to them that yes, if you wanna make a I wanna stress to them there are opportunities to support the senior center. Whether you know of someone who could use the information, whether you personally could use the information, whether you as a group would like to make a monetary donation to the group, which we can do through the Friends of the Longmont Senior Center. That whole sort of thing. I also want to stress to them, if you need a meeting space and you want to rent a room right downtown, they're available, you know, per the scheduling and everything else. But it's also an option to maybe, you know, make some money for the senior center. So these are all going to be things.
Not invite them to come because we cannot have more than what we have already.
Wait, say it again.
Telling them the information that they can donate and is what we do, but we can't set for them to come because we do not have space for them. So if they want to come, join, they can because we don't have the space. Is that right?
We do in the evening. We have rooms available.
Right, we do.
We have rooms
Yeah.
available.
That's not a problem yet.
Yeah.
So, and again, stressing all this stuff, you know, not getting a lot of people, not putting out so much information that we get a big return. Because we can't manage it yet. So it'll be a slower process. How does everybody feel that outreach is doing so far? What does everybody think of it? What?
Oh, just
What?
It seems like your outreach, if you do enough outreach to maybe get the donors to them, so the money comes back, at the same time you're doing that, you're doing outreach to let them know what you're offering. So I'm saying there's kind of a catch there that you can't really regulate too much.
Right. Right, and I would love to go full tilt out there and let everybody know what's going on in the senior center and stuff like that. I just don't want the outreach committee to be over-promising and under-delivering. So it's like we've said from the beginning, that's a juggling act that we're gonna be going through the whole time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would think it's really hard to tell at this point, you know, you're just getting started. I guess I would ask Ronnie, have you had any consequence that you can see from the outreach efforts?
Not at this time. I think
Okay.
again, if we're being mindful and careful in how we are, what outreach is and what it looks like, and this presentation is a good example of that surface level information with the right pieces of data to support. I think that's the information our community.
Yeah, I think it's a building process, like you
Right.
said.
Exactly. And I think what could happen too is the more people in the community who know about the senior center, whether it's anything they're personally, you know, interested in pursuing, or they just like knowing what goes on in Longmont, could help us budget-wise. You know, if you have a lot of people saying, hey, senior center needs more help, you know, the more you can get the word out to everybody, you never know where that support is coming from and where it could help us. So I think in that regard, you know, I just want to make sure everybody's feeling like things are being done, but I don't want to go real quickly.
I think it's
wanna
a
go
good
slowly.
pace, I think you've got a good pace going, which is, and you're looking to build the momentum.
Right.
Because you gotta start somewhere, and I think the seeds are being distributed.
Well, I did ask Ronnie about unity in the community, so that was answered. And I'm talking to Guillermo. He said the September NGLA meeting is a fair. It's groups from all over the city who come to represent themselves, and people walk around and see what's going on. I would very much like to be a part of that. I've been calling in for 2 weeks and I haven't gotten any answer yet.
That's a good one,
So I would like everybody to plan on that. I believe it is, the September meeting is Thursday, September 17th, 6:30 to 7:30. Where is their new location? Does anybody know?
The Civic Center in GLA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Civic
that's right.
Center?
They're meeting in the
Council chambers.
council chamber.
So if everybody could put that, you know, save the date for that one. Again, September 17th, 6:30 to 7:30. I think that'd be a good way to get out there. Also, we're speaking at the October NGLA meeting, just us. It's not gonna be a fair, it's gonna be a regular meeting format, and we're speaking at that.
What date and time is that, Lonnie?
October would be the third Thursday of the month, so I don't know which that will be. But the NGLA meetings are always the third Thursday of the month at 6:30 to 7:30.
So 15th.
15?
15th, okay. October 15th, good. Okay, so considering everything we've talked about, I'm wondering if it's necessary to have the extra time in the meeting for outreach. Originally, we did it because we couldn't get together and meet, the committee to meet, because of the open meeting laws. So my idea is, and I'd like to get everybody's idea on this, is that we don't, well, look at it, it's 5:12.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we could continue to do this, and then if it just means the meeting ends early, the meeting ends early. And then if down the road we find out that there's been a big change and an adjustment needs to be made, then we can do
I
it.
think as you get more momentum, it might
Yeah.
be time well spent, so, and Zach spoke for a long time, which is great, so.
So it was nice having the extra time in the meeting, I guess.
I think so too, for
And
now.
then, yeah,
I do
Okay.
agree. I think at some point we need to get back to historically the time that we had allocated for years, right, which is 2 hours. We need to work towards 2 hours. Maybe not today, not now, maybe not for the next couple of months, maybe not for the rest of the year, but I just feel strongly. And I think and as far as people speaking, including myself, because I can be long-winded, we just get people to be a little more focused.
Straighten it up. Let Margaret talk.
And if we need to. You don't want that.
for the record, Eric wants to go back to 9:30 to 11:30, you already told me that.
What we used to do, we used to put time limits on each one of these agenda items.
Right.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, so that way we know kind of what we're working towards to stay on track. So if we need to go back to that, let me know when we're agenda planning.
Yeah, we use the time we have, so we have, was it 10 to 12?
Mhm.
It used to be 10 to 12.
Well, let's keep going for another meeting or two, see how it goes, and we
Yeah.
can decide it later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we do keep it shorter and outreach doesn't need to meet committee meeting in the middle of the meeting, then we might be able to bring it back down to 2 hours.
Well, all right.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about outreach or anything else? Marta, I love what you're doing with reaching out in the Spanish-speaking community. I think that's also very important.
Yeah.
Your purpose in life.
Yeah,
Good night.
it's what you live for.
Anything else?
If you need anything, let me know.
I'd like a motion to adjourn if that's appropriate. Oh, that was quick, yes. Motion been approved. All right. Eric, you made your point. All right, Eric. That's a nag.
At 10:11:58. What do you do with all the 2 minutes to spare?